guest this week on Word of Movement is, for me, the quintessential guest for the show. Farid Herrera has been around for a long time, and not just with parkour. In this three-part interview, we discover his own path, traced by parkour, matured by capoeira, sustained by the love to move. From his experience developing the Parkour Dance Company project, we also discuss topics that range from the trivial to the microscopic. I hope you enjoy our run through the stories of this very fascinating mover. This is Farid Herrera, and this is Word of Movement. It's blending. You shouldn't do just one thing, you should do many. You shouldn't be a specialist, you should be a generalist. And
Right.
And that's, I think that makes sense to me, for sure. Yeah. Going back to the parkour dance, is it still on? Is it still happening? Or
it is absolutely still happening. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Are you still involved?
I am still involved. Yeah.
Good.
So we've got a performance at the moment going on called Sacred Sons.
Good.
Which is based on the rite of passage, which is it's a male performance, and it's the rite of passage. So this journey from becoming a boy to a man, essentially, and that's what the performance is based on. I'm not directly involved with this one because it's quite that there's a lot of dance, and there's sort of no set. At the last performance I was involved with parkour dance, which was called Danger Risk of Falling, we had a structure built for us and a set, and so I was very much directly involved with that one. But I'm still for parkour dance, and I'm teaching at the academy on Saturday mornings. Every Saturday morning we've got a little academy where our kids come along,
Awesome.
and we train them. And so I'm all for parkour dance. Yeah, absolutely.
And what else are you doing? Do you just do work movement related? Do you do other stuff outside parkour or capoeira or dancing? What does Farid Herrera do?
Yeah, it's pretty much all movement related.
All right.
It's all. Yeah, it's pretty much all movement. So teaching parkour, but parkour is my main thing actually. Just teaching parkour. I'm working a lot with kids at the moment. I would like to work a bit more with adults now, so I'm working on setting that up.
Awesome.
And also not necessarily just parkour now either.
Yep.
Sort of exploring other things. Hand balancing is one that I'm quite into at the moment. I thought I could do a handstand essentially until I saw. I don't know if you've heard of him, Yuval Ayalon.
No.
He's a great hand balancer, and obviously his handstand's incredible. He's straight as a pencil. It's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, essentially, in terms of a handstand. And you look at that guy and you think, and even if you can balance on your hands for 10 seconds, you're like, you look at him do it and you're like, I can't do a handstand. He literally makes you, but it's beautiful. And so seeing that sort of inspired me quite a bit, I was like, I thought I could do this stuff actually, but there's so much to it. It's quite interesting. So hand balance is quite interesting. And somehow I think, Alex, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be Tom, Dick or Harry down the road. I'm pretty sure you would like to be able to do a handstand.
Of course.
You know what I mean? There's something about that. I'm pretty sure everyone on this world, well, maybe not everyone, but you know what I mean? Just something anyone, you can walk up to anyone, they'd probably want to be able to do one. It's just, I don't know, there's something strange about that. So handstands are quite fun. Something I'm playing with.
All right, before we finish, I have a few more questions, and these were suggested from a dear friend, Paul Costa. He's one of my friends, and obviously he was very keen on following the show, and then he made a suggestion of questions that I could ask my guests. So one of the questions was, what would you say to your old self from 10 years back? What advice would you give him? If you could go back in time, talk to your 18-year-old Farid Herrera, and what would you say to him?
Oh, that's a hard one, man. Probably that essentially, it might be obvious, but probably that you can train anything you like. So if it's anything you like, it doesn't have to be a physical pursuit. If you want something, if you're sitting there and you're 18 and you're sitting there thinking, oh, I'd like to be a bit more of this or a bit more of that, if you like, or you want to be a bit more this way or that way, just get on it as early as possible, because it's probably possible, it's probably attainable.
For sure. All right.
Yeah.
All right. And second question is, if someone gave you a billboard, one of those big ones that you can see from the motorways or whatever, or
right.
Los Angeles or New York, whatever. If you had one for yourself,
mm-hmm.
and you could write only one sentence, what would that sentence be? Like a message, what would that sentence be? It doesn't matter if people know that's your billboard or not. They're gonna look at the billboard and there's a message there. What message?
It's something like you create your own freedom, or you're in charge of your own freedom. Something like that. You can create your own freedom. Something like that.
All right. Where do you see parkour in 10 years, let's say?
I wanted to ask you that one, actually. In 10 years, where do I see parkour? It's hard to say. I don't think it's going to get as grand as the Olympics or anything like that. Or it might. But
so you think there's still a place for competition in parkour?
Yeah, I think so. I think very much so. I think essentially the market dictates what happens to all these things. If people want to see competitions, and if there's money in there, someone's going to come out there and get behind it. Does that make sense? So yeah, potentially. I think a guy from the UK, Tom Taylor, he's quite keen on speed comps, I think, and he's quite an interesting guy, actually. You'd be better off talking to him, Tom Taylor. I think he's quite opinionated, but he's great. And I think he's quite keen on speed comps, things like that. And actually, I think those can be quite interesting, speed competitions. Yeah. Whether it's going to be Olympic material, I don't think so. And where do I see it going? I don't know. I think in this day and age, people are just want to monetize anything. They want to monetize everything. So whatever people want to see, essentially, if people want to see more of that Red Bull stuff, then maybe that's probably where it's going to go. Or if people want to see other things, it's hard to say. I think somehow it will remain a bit of a sort of a grassroots, bit of an underground movement, similar to skate culture in a way. With the purists and all these different offshoots of people with different opinions and all that stuff. I think probably, yeah, it will carry on down that path. Yeah, where I would like to see it, though, I would like to see it being taught in schools as part of the physical education curriculum.
Yes.
Or I would like to see it. I think in France, David's doing a lot of work with the Fire Brigade, etc. So that's where I would like to see it implemented, essentially.
Yeah, I agree.
But whether that's going to happen or not is a different story. Yeah.
Yeah, I also agree with that. I think that the future of parkour, for me personally, it shouldn't be too much competition based, although there will be a competition always.
I think so, yeah.
People are looking for that. They will find it, or they will create it, for sure. But in terms of not neglecting the roots and obviously spreading the good message of parkour, it should be implemented in schools.
I think
that maybe some authority figures like police, fire Fire
Fighters,
brigade
yeah.
is as well, police, prison guards.
Sure.
All those people should also have a little bit of a parkour foundation,
Yeah.
because it's important for their job.
Agreed. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And if that happens, parkour will be available for everybody, and uh, nobody will be thinking bad things about parkour, and
Sure, sure. Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
can
yeah.
play. Everybody can play. Like, you look, when you go out on the street, everybody's doing parkour. That would
Sure.
be
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
amazing, man.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
would be awesome.
It's inside all of us, man. I
For
think
sure, yeah, of
it's
course it
inside
is,
all of
man.
us. Yeah.
But it doesn't matter if you call it parkour or if you call it capoeira, man. It doesn't matter, because it's all movement that we have inside of us.
Yeah.
And I think it should be available for everybody. Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed.
So yeah, that's it, man.
Cool, man.
All right, let's finish this conversation. Hopefully, we'll do one or two more in the near future.
Sure, sure.
Let's see how the show goes. I'm obviously counting on the comments and on the shares of everybody, on the feedback especially,
Yeah.
to make this show grow. I'm still learning as I go,
Sure.
as I go along. I want to thank you. I really want to thank you, man. It's
Thank
really
you,
good
Alex, man.
to talk to
It's
you,
good
man.
to speak to you as well, man.
Yeah, we still have a lot of things to talk about.
I think so, man. I think so.
But that's for another time.
For sure.
All right, man. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Thank you, man.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to thumbs up. Also share it with as many people as possible so everybody knows what's going on. And of course, subscribe to stay tuned for another episode of Word of Movement.